John once lived to tell the story of the rain, sweat, glory of Mike, checks, and men who fight the destination we were destined to end. Left the writing on the wall in the halls of the Nippon Khan. Others transformed, majority Decepticons. But my conception of the...
All right, we're back again. It is the Wait for It Seattle podcast, Seatown Sports, where we write things sometimes.
Well, you've been writing things, which has been great.
Summer vibes back, baby.
I will say the open rate on Kraken is not as much as your open rate on Storm.
Which is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I know people really like Storm. Kraken, I had to do it because we previewed it last week.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I have to do it before we podcast.
I like this. It's holding you accountable.
I got more things to hold me accountable. You ready? Last week was episode 55. Bruce Harrell wore 55 at the UW playing football.
And I told you that he played UW football.
He absolutely went to Garfield High School and played football, and I was making things up. I was confusing his one of his kids who played at Cleveland or something, but
Yeah.
Mayor Harrell, please don't come after our podcast. Today is episode 56, which in Seahawks land is a big number. Leroy Hill, Cliff Averill.
Cliff Averill, see,
Great
that's
Seahawk. It's a great Seahawk.
a Haitian legend, Cliff Averill.
Wow, there you go. He's still like very active Seattle community.
Does he own a cookie shop? Does he own a wings place? What does he own in Seattle?
It's a good question. I don't know. He does a lot of foundation stuff, and he's been connected to some other high-end restaurants that I know.
I just feel like every former Seahawk has invested in at least one business in Seattle. Yeah, he's got like a dining foundation thingy going on here.
Yeah.
But I don't see any businesses.
But that's not what this episode is named for. The 56th episode is only for one person. Okay. And it's one Fernando Rodney, of course. So, yeah, this is the Fernando Rodney experience of podcasts right now. So, in order to make it a true chaotic experience, like all of Fernando Rodney's appearances, I totally mixed up what we're doing today. And I decided Kev is going to pick from a list of 90s rap songs that I've curated. And then I will tell him what the subject matter is based on that rap song.
It is pretty spicy. I looked at the track list, and a good portion I know. Some of them I don't know.
I figured there'd be some you didn't know. I also think if people are listening, they can just like create a playlist as they're going. And it would not be bad. It would not be a bad playlist for 90s hip hop. So
Yeah, I was born in 92, so if these were all truly in the 90s, that means
they are. Yeah, they're all 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Can I name all the songs first, and then you can pick whatever one you want to start with?
Yeah.
Okay. We have The Crossroads by Bone Thugs. If I Ruled the World by Nas and Lauryn Hill. Two Wu-Tang songs, of course, Protect Your Neck and Cream. We have Sky's the Limit by Notorious B.I.G. Keep Your Head Up by Tupac. Step Into a World by KRS-One. De La Soul, Stakes is High, and The Next Movement by The Roots. Those are our choices. So, Kev, I will say, sadly, I did not attend the Wu-Tang concert that was here on Saturday.
Yeah,
It was
where were you?
too expensive. Couldn't make it happen, so...
Man, we really need to start making money off of this venture of ours.
I have now missed the Kendrick Lamar concert and the Wu-Tang concert.
Yeah.
So teach your salaries, folks. Okay, Kev, pick a song for us.
Do I sing? I have a mic in front of me.
I mean, you
If I
can.
ruled the world.
Not bad, Kev.
Yeah,
Not bad.
there you go. I don't know the rap,
I
but
don't know how Caroline's gonna feel about that, but we'll see.
well, I will just say that Lauryn Hill, like the best. Okay, if Cal Raleigh, let's say Cal Raleigh, God forbid, he doesn't have a one-hit wonder this year. He just hits 60 home runs every season for the rest of his career. Like, that'd be awesome. But the miseducation of Lauryn Hill is just, she's lived on that one album.
Yeah.
Of course, she had her run with her group prior, but it's just such a great album. And then she was done.
Yeah.
She was just done. And it's just such a, like, from start to finish. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a Cooper flag. It's a one and done. That's epic.
Yeah.
All right. So If I Ruled the World by Nas and Lauryn Hill. These are Mariner trade targets, Kev. Start off the Mariners. So if I ruled the world, you know, as the concept, who would you trade for, Kev?
Eugenio Suarez,
I
man.
knew it. Yeah, good vibes
It's
only, baby.
dude, the lowest hanging fruit.
Hmm.
And I was just thinking on my drive today, um, that the Mariners have had Julio Rodriguez in the home run derby, who had awesome an awesome performance. He's got power. Now they have the best power hitter in baseball. Cal Raleigh leads the
Mhm.
league in home runs and RBIs. He's going to also be in the home run derby. And I was thinking to myself, everyone likes to talk about how the Mariners offense sucks. How ironic is it that they've probably had two of the top 10 power hitters in the major leagues in the past 5 years?
Yep.
I think it's crazy. And what the other crazy thing is, well, if you bring on Eugenio Suarez, right? Got another power who has already been a Mariner.
Yeah.
So all this
I said this
talk,
on the
yeah,
podcast. He was only here for what was it, 2 or 3 years? But
2 to 3 years.
I think it was two, and he's probably in my top. He's definitely in my top 20. I've watched a lot of Mariners games, but
Yeah.
he's one of my favorite Mariners all
There's
time.
plenty of historical precedent for players making two-time runs with the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
I think Raul Ibanez is a great example
Yeah.
where he had
Yeah.
success with the Mariners, had success out of the Mariners, came back, had more success with the Mariners.
Yep.
Why not? I think it would be such a great trade if they somehow got him. He'd fix the issue at third base.
So here's where I'm going to agree with you for
Yeah.
sure. He they need a third baseman. So as much as we love Ben Williamson and he's outlasted our predictions on this podcast for being on the roster, Ben Williamson is a sick defensive third baseman. He's really good. But Gino was really good when he was here by the time he left. And they need something more. Like you could tell me whatever Williamson's hitting over his last 7 games, 14 games, whatever. The guy hits singles only.
Yeah.
And part of me is okay with it because we've had so much swing and miss and home run or nothing. But it's not like he's Ichiro or even, God, I was going to say Sean Figgins. So that's a bad example. Somebody who's fast, who can get on base and get steals with singles. And he's not ready to me, Ben Williamson. He needs
Yeah.
to develop power in the minors. Third base is the target. So Gino is on my list.
He's hitting 257, 25 home runs, 68 RBIs.
257 is
he's
crazy
hitting
high
257.
for
Yeah.
Gino. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can't get Gino, Ryan McMahon of the Rockies, I think he's on pace for his 4th straight 20 home run season. Super solid player, third base. Or I would love this, Nolan Arenado, who's probably a Hall of Famer, back on the Cardinals. He was targeted sort of in the offseason. I'm just give me a vet who can hit in the clutch, who is situationally good but has a little power. Arenado's a pro. I think it would be awesome to have somebody like that. So I like those three. I'm going to throw Josh Naylor out there as the first base. There's a lot of rumors about Josh Naylor getting out of here. I mean, yeah, they have Luke Raley sort of platooning at first,
Yeah.
but really he's a right fielder. I mean, I don't know. You got to take Josh Naylor if you can get him. Like,
Yeah.
he's an upgrade.
Cal
and
Raleigh
here-
just hit a home run, by the way.
Let's go. Are you serious?
Homer to center field.
My God.
6-1 Mariners.
Amazing. I hope they don't blow this. It'll be a real bummer tomorrow. Here's my one I want to throw out. There are a lot of relievers. ESPN has a top 50 list and then they do percent chance they get traded. But Johan Duran from the Twins is their closer who throws 102. I said this in the offseason, Kev. And my thing was, and we talked about it with Patrick at one point, like, why don't they just build out what there is like a perceived strength already? So if they have good starters and the starters seem to be coming back around, right? And they have a little better hitting maybe than we thought, but the bullpen is like almost there. Just imagine if Pete Fairbanks from Tampa Bay or Duran from Minnesota, one of these dudes who throws like 98, 100, just throw him in the back end with Spire, Brash, and Munoz. Now all of a sudden it's a 6-inning game.
Yeah. And
I'm like,
the pressure's
God,
not on the starters to go 7. And if the
right.
starters go 7, then you have a rested bullpen that will like
Yeah, then you can
take it
sprinkle
up.
in these guys. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I really want them to get a good reliever at the deadline. That's
Yeah.
what I really like. So I know everybody needs hitting, but if you can't find a good hitter like Gino, great. I would love both. If you can't find a good hitter, go get me two guys who throw 98 and just like Yankees did this a few years ago, where like you get to the 6th inning and it was over. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, they didn't win the World Series, but that's not the point. Okay, give me another song pick.
God. I gotta keep your head up.
I don't think you sang that one right.
I didn't.
Tupac, keep your head up. One of his early releases.
I like Dear Mama. I mean, obviously California Love. All Eyes on Me is my favorite
Yeah, the
album.
double album is incredible, but this is like the first one. This is I mean, he probably had an early release before this. Anyway, this is for the Sounders. Yeah. You have to keep your head up after losing 5 in a row.
I mean, two of them are against two of the best clubs in the entire
Three. The
world.
Club World Cup, they lost all three.
Three.
And they lost to PSG 2-0.
Not
And
bad.
and
Not
then Inter
bad.
Miami went out and lost 4-0
Yeah, with
yesterday.
Messi. Yeah.
Yeah, with Messi, Suarez, all their dudes were playing. So the reports I heard from friends who went and people who watch closely, I mean, I couldn't watch. PSG was at noon on a Monday. Um, Even though I'm in summer mode, you'd think I could, but I was still teaching. Is that Sounders look good. Like
Yeah.
they look like they held their own. I think that was the Seattle Times article I read is clearly, I mean, they kind of said like PSG's clearly better than us, but we held our own. That's cool.
Have you ever had this happen when you're in your illustrious high school basketball coaching career where
Mhm.
you went and played a tournament or played a couple non-conference games against really good competition? I'm sure this happened to you at a holiday tournament where you just got like kind of got a tough set of games. And then you go and play your league games and you're like, wow, those teams were actually really good. And then you check how those teams ended up doing in California or whatever. And you're like, oh, they won the state championship or they won
Yeah.
their division. And it's like, oh, I mean, sometimes there's value to playing really good teams early on,
Yeah.
especially when you're learning. And I think that's kind of a situation we got here. We're finishing the month of June and headed into the real meat of MLS league play, where this could maybe have a good positive impact on the Sounders moving forward.
The best
Thoughts?
example I have before I get to the Sounders is when we played Chino Hills with the Ball brothers. But we knew they were averaging 120 a game. We give up 97, and it was their second lowest of the season.
Yeah.
And
Did
at the
you?
end of the year, and we finished fourth in state that year. I think that might be a stretch. We
When
went to state.
so when you played them, were you like LaMelo's the best out of the three?
No, he was a freshman and he was tiny, and he was really annoying. He so their whole philosophy. We're getting on a tangent, but people like this. Chino Hills and the Ball brothers. First of all, their dad sat at midcourt and coached the team half the time. Leangelo and Alonzo would just shoot from half court. And then whether they'd make or miss, they would just have two people pick up in the full court and never go back and play defense.
Okay, when you say half court, sorry for our listeners, do you mean like
No,
kind of like
Leangelo
logo
Ball, yes, would shoot
from
from
the logo?
the half court logo, which in high school is not like NBA logos that stretch. It's the center circle he would shoot from.
Yeah.
And he's the best shooter of all of them. And he's the one that has, his illustrious 1 month rap career. But my kids loved his song. LaMelo, who is clearly the best NBA talent and grew a ton, was probably 5'3" and would just try to steal and just they'd throw bombs to him on the other end and he'd get layups. He didn't play any defense whatsoever. It was their philosophy of play because people don't realize they had a dude who plays for the Atlanta Hawks now in the back end who would just block your shots if you'd come down the court. And they didn't care that you had 5-on-3 because you were so awkward in 5-on-3, you would just miss shots. And they're like, we'll outscore you.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was one of the worst experiences of my life playing them in basketball. Okay.
Let's be clear. You weren't actually playing. You were coaching.
Oh, good point. Good
You're-
point. I was the assistant coach. Yeah.
Who
Okay.
is the best player on your team on that team? Not that other players were bad, but who did anybody
Uh,
end up playing in
the
college?
best, yeah. Nick Lynch played at Lehigh, and Colin Welp played in the tournament and went to UC Irvine.
Yeah.
Colin's probably and Aaron Nettles played at Seattle U.
Yep. Yep.
Kalu Strickland played Division III. We had talented kids. Colin Welp ended up with the best career. He's still playing in Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And his dad, obviously, wearing the Husky shirt, Christian Welp, all-time leading scorer in Husky history. So
Oh, we got to get him on the pod.
yeah,
Okay.
Colin would be fun. Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I didn't really say my thought on the Sounders because I get distracted. So they beat Austin FC. I watched the game. Jordan Morris played 15 minutes, so that's really great. He's starting to come back. Jesus Ferreira scored. It's his second goal of the year. He was the big acquisition. So yeah, I think keep your head up. Sounders are on their way back up. I think they have an ability to make a little dent here. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run. So
Yeah.
there you go. Pick another song, Kev.
I'll pick the last one that I actually know.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's the Crossroads.
Oh,
Bone
yeah,
Thugs and
everybody
Harmony.
knows Bone Thugs Crossroads.
Yeah. I mean, I want to listen to it after this.
You're
Uh,
you'll like this one. This is about the Seattle Storm.
well, I witnessed the Crossroads last night with my sister.
Yeah.
Um,
So I want to get your thoughts, but let me tell you why I
Yeah.
think it's at the Crossroads. They're 4-3 in their last 7 games.
Yeah.
The 3 losses, 2 of them are to Golden State, one of which you saw last night, and 1 to Indiana. They beat the Aces and the Liberty in the same stretch. So I don't really understand who this team is. I feel like they're weirdly defensive in press conferences about, like, somebody asked Quinn about her X's and O's, and she's like, it's not the X's and O's. They out hustled us, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I get that as a coach, but it could be a little X's and O's. Like, I think the Golden State coach, I've already told you this, Nakase, is that her name?
Natalie Nakashe, yeah.
She's freaking awesome.
Yeah. I kept on
And-
thinking about it during the game.
Yeah,
It's
she's
like,
so good.
these are all no-name players. Like, your best player is Kate
Right.
Martin, and she's like averages. I mean, she's not the best player, but like she
Yeah,
is
most
the
well-known,
notable player. It's
Right.
you know,
I know, what's her name? Burton is, I think, her name, right? Veronica
Yeah.
Burton. She's balling against the Storm.
yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they're at a crossroads. They're not. This is kind of what we thought. Like, are they good or are they not?
Yeah, it's really tough to tell,
Yeah.
I think.
Especially the games you're watching. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this game that I watch just actually like so let me tell you they're 7-3 in their last 10. They sit at number 5 in the standings. And I wouldn't know that they were 7-3
Right.
their past 10 or that they're the 5th best team in the WNBA after watching them get slaughtered
Just smoked.
by Golden State. The Golden State, like it. I'm kind of with it with like they don't have shooters,
Hmm.
and what Golden State did was they kind of sucked in on
They
defense,
did. Yeah.
and so players would what's her face Skylar would
Yep.
drive, get kind of bottled up, kick out to a player, and whoever caught the kick out wasn't comfortable with shooting the 3 or just missed. They were like 5 for 22 from 3 or some horrible percentage like that. But if and it can't just be Gabby Williams, right, who pretty much
Right.
plays the entire game.
Right.
I feel like they just need one more like
So what's weird about it is
bonafide scorer. Like I just want them to have like a Kelsey Plum level type of scorer. Sorry,
well,
go ahead.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
They're still second in the WNBA in 3-point shooting. That's what's so weird.
They were horrible last night. Like,
But I agree with you. Even beyond last night, like it
Yeah.
doesn't look like they're a good 3-point shooting team the way they play. And I think you're right. I think Golden State's strategy was absolutely to make them shoot from the outside and just see what happens.
and like coming,
'Cause-
I mean, coming, like they had enough size to match like Malonga and NECA inside, where it just seemed like those two were neutralized. And
Yep.
they're not great at passing out of the post. This is kind of why you need to play Malonga more so she gets more comfortable.
Yeah, that's the other
Um,
thing about the Crossroads, right? So I mean, this I'm gonna beat the drum that I'm on, but she had like 11 points, but a lot of it was when they were down last night.
yeah,
And they asked Quinn about it, and she's like, "Well, she doesn't play sometimes because of matchups." And I'm like, "It's such an easy out." I don't know. They look to me like an old team who's worn down. They're playing, these starters are playing more minutes than anybody in the WNBA. She just rides those starters, and they're not young. Neko Ogumike just made her 10th All-Star game. Like, she's old. Skylar's older. Even Ezzy's, I mean, she's in the middle of her career, but like, give them some, like, play Malanga.
yeah.
Stop. I don't know. I'm just frustrated. Even when they play well, they have stretches in games. Like when they played the Aces, there was a part where they were awful, and then they just looked great. And the Aces are more problematic than the Storm, which helped. It's just there's something broken to me a
Yeah.
little bit.
I will say that I do think the Valkyries have good home court advantage. I mean, now I've gone to the Fever game and I went to this game. I really think that they're 7-3 from home.
Yep.
This is just a weird Saturday game against the Storm. No one special on the Storm. Not a Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Not Brianna Stewart. None of those household names. And the arena was packed.
Yeah, they said there were 18,000 in there, and the Storm players said it was a real home court
It
advantage.
was nuts. Sue Bird was there. Megan Rapinoe was there. Dawn Staley was there. Brandon Podziemski is like a
Of
court
course, he's
sits
got courtside.
courtside.
Yeah,
He switches out his jerseys apparently for every game. Um, it is it's a home court advantage, and the team is valued at $500 million. I
it's
don't know if you
wild.
saw this.
No,
Like,
I think aren't they like got the number one value now in the WNBA, and they
yeah,
have the
they've
best.
existed not even for a full season
Yeah,
yet.
and they have the best season tickets. I mean, it'll be interesting. Does it wear down if they're not
Yeah,
great? But they have the right coach, and like somebody's gonna want to go play there who's a big name free agent.
yeah.
Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to play in front of 15 to 18,000 crazy? What are they called, Kev? What is it? The
Valhalla.
Valhalla?
Yeah, there were no Storm fans there. Me and Caroline saw maybe like a dozen,
Yeah,
including us. So, kudos to
yeah.
the Valkyries.
Well, storm around at Crossroads, and we'll see what happens.
Um, all right, sky's the limit. That
Ah,
is a by Notorious B.I.G, but that's not a household known
it's a softer song.
song.
It's a softer
Yeah,
one. It's on the double album. Um, okay, it's got two parts here. Two things. Sky's the limit. One, let's jump off the WNBA. Big announcement today. They're expanding more.
yeah,
So
and
Portland's coming next year, and then by 2030, they're going to add Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly, which will bring the league to 18 teams. And to your point about the Valkyries and TV ratings this year still, and ticket sales and everything, sky's the limit for the WNBA right now.
yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, you gotta hope that rapid expansion doesn't lead to talent dilution. So one of the reasons why the ratings are high, I think, is at least every matchup will have a couple marquee names or marquee players. And when you expand, you risk having more teams like kind of like the Valkyries, honestly, right? Like there's only Kate Martin and there's no
Yeah.
one really else like the average WNBA fan or non-fan would know about.
Yeah.
And so when you expand, that's what you risk. But I
I th-
would say that these teams are cutting players like frequently,
that's what I was
like
going to say.
these players are good enough to play.
Like Haley Jones from Stanford a couple years ago, she was a top end pick. She was a really great player in college. She's been on the Dream. She just got waived again by the Wings. She's been on all kinds of teams, and she's just trying to stick it. And I mean, she's a top five. I think she was the number 2 pick coming out of college.
Yeah.
So, and now because college women's basketball is so popular and there are more household names, like think of Haley Van Lith, who we talked about. She's barely playing, depending
Yeah.
on injuries in Chicago. Like, I think the talent is there to expand. There may be a bigger gap as they get bigger between the teams with the really high end. Um, but I don't know. Maybe that's still the case anyway, right?
Yeah.
This year feels a little bit more like 5, 6 teams could win at this point because the Liberty are coming back down to earth. Minnesota's probably the favorite, but the Aces aren't very good. So, like, what do could Indiana win it? Absolutely, they could. Could Seattle win it? Ugh, I don't know. Okay. My second part for WNBA expansion. Oh, can I do a rant real quick about WNBA? I don't think this is going to make me sound bad, Kev. Okay.
Do it.
There's been a lot of talk. I want to be clear. I am pro player rest if they feel like they need rest. But there's been a lot of talk about how they expanded to 44 games and they're playing too often. And there's a lot of social media like blaming the commissioner. Okay.
What?
Yeah. So somebody tweeted out it's not just Caitlin Clark and like how did all these like Sabrina and some other shooters and Kelsey Plum is on there and how their 3-point percentage is down right now the last 2 weeks. So it was the point was like Caitlin Clark's not in a shooting slump. Just everybody pays attention to Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Plum blamed the schedule and the commissioner for that they're tired. She said, "Yeah, we're tired." Okay. I was curious because I'm like, I don't feel like they play that often. Like it's not crazy to me when I watch it or I see the schedule as if somebody watches almost every Storm game. So I went and looked, and the second month of the year this year is June. So from June 6th to now, I believe I have this right. The Sparks, where Kelsey Plum plays, have played 9 games. In the same amount of time in November, the second month of the NBA season, the Lakers played 16 games. Okay. So, or it's 14, 15, or 16, somewhere in that range, but it's at least 5 more games. So the WNBA is not putting these players, Kathy Engelbert, or I think whatever her name is, sorry, Engelbert, the commissioner, by expanding to 44 is not putting the players at any more risk than the NBA or the NHL or anybody else. But if the argument is in general sports are playing too often, I can get on that. But if the WNBA is saying like they're somehow their players are at a bigger risk or they're playing more often, get out of here with that. Okay? That was my rant. I did some data for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
nothing to
nothing.
add.
You're
I
like,
have
thanks for
nothing to
sharing.
add.
Okay. I just have seen it a lot, and I think it's, I guess they have a CBA negotiation, so I could try to figure that out.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, but I don't think, I don't feel like the Storm play that often. I would rather they never play back to backs really. Like as a fan, I want more games, so that's where I go. My second part of Sky's the Limit has nothing to do with the basketball. It is the Mariners' future. The Mariners have 3 players named to the Futures game at the All-Star weekend. Did you see that?
Who are they?
Laz Montez,
Lazaro.
who
Right?
is
Is that his actual name?
yes,
Yeah.
he is the greatest. He is the greatest power hitter in minor league baseball right now. He's insane. Like they've been calling him Jordan Alvarez, like baby Jordan, which would be amazing, right? He's just got sent up to high A, I think, from low A. He was in Everett, now he's not. The switch pitcher in Everett, who I can never pronounce his last name, is also going. And then Harry Ford, who I feel like is going for like his 10th time. I don't think that's true, but I'm pretty sure I watched Harry Ford at the game at T-Mobile in 2023 in the Futures game. And Harry Ford should be on the Major League roster right now. So, but there,
It's such a problem. It's such a problem though, because who's playing catcher for the Mariners? Oh my God, that name is hard. Jurangelo Shinte.
I can't. I've looked up how to pronounce his last name, and I can't.
Yeah.
I will try to get there, but I don't have it.
Oh, he's from the Netherlands. Fascinating.
He's switch pitcher, true switch pitcher. I mean, he is our like one of our top prospects, and he's in the top 100. But also the switch pitcher aspect, like I'm sure at the Futures game they're going to try and get him to pitch from both sides. Why wouldn't you? That's super cool.
Yeah,
trying to get people to watch. Harry Ford, yeah, come on, man. They can put Polanco in the IL. He hasn't played in 3 games because of a knee injury. Bring up Harry Ford. DH Mitch Garver. Mitch Garver hits bombs every 5 weeks. It's great. Mitch Garver's 0 for 3 tonight. Okay. Give me another one.
Stakes is high. Should it be stakes are high?
What do you? That's I got lost now. Stakes is high. It's De La Soul. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. The song is called Stakes is High, Kev. Sorry that you're old English teacher and you wanted to correct it. De La Soul. Do you know De La Soul at all?
I mean, I know they exist, but
All right,
not a
that's all you
fan.
got. Okay.
Yeah.
The stakes are really, really high for Cal Raleigh in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So this is my plug. We probably should have just done it at the beginning. You have to vote right now. If you're listening to this podcast, you need to pause the podcast and go vote for Cal Raleigh.
How do you vote?
Okay, you,
Like, honestly, it's hard. Like,
you go to just go to MLB.com and they will have a link for voting. You have to use an email. You can only vote once per day. If
yeah.
you're a true fan, like I am, you have used 3 different emails to vote for him today.
So why is Aaron Judge already in?
So Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani were the leading vote getters in every league through the first round. And so
Yes.
they're in. Major League Baseball, I don't think they did this last year, but I could be wrong, has now named finalists. And it's a short period. It's a short window of voting. And you have to vote now. It starts over. Cal had a 1,000,000 vote lead on Alejandro Kirk, and now it's 0-0 starting this morning. So you have to do it. I'm very
You know
passionate
those
about
Blue
this.
Jay fans hate Cal Raleigh.
And Blue Jay fans will punch those metaphorical tickets. Like they will vote for their dude. They have great fan base.
Yeah.
We have to do this. It can't just be I thought about doing it. Like this is an appeal to everything that's good in Seattle sports. And you have to vote for Cal Raleigh, and you have to find different emails to do multiple per day. I sent a text with the link to my family group chat. My Aunt Kathleen, who does not watch baseball other than when I make her at family gatherings, voted for Cal Raleigh today. You have no excuse.
For the record, I want to make it clear for all our listeners that Brian has the same enthusiasm for this voting as he does for every King County special election, local West Seattle elected official race, whatever.
Listen, my vote matters more for Cal Raleigh right now than it does for those. Okay. We have some power here to do something. And if I want you to think just as a baseball fan, like, so I have a friend who's a Boston fan, whatever. They probably don't care that much. They might listen to this. You need to vote for Cal Raleigh. Does anybody really want to turn on the All-Star game and see Alejandro Kirk batting 9th for the American League? What are we doing? He shouldn't be starting an All-Star game. Cal Raleigh should be batting 4th right behind Aaron Judge. Do you know how cool that would be?
Yeah.
Go vote for Cal Raleigh today, tomorrow, the next day, until they stop it, and make sure he's the starter for the All-Star game.
Cal Raleigh, baby, hit another home run earlier, so
I am very passionate about this. It's one time every day between now and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific.
you got 3 days to vote.
Yes, this is a short window. So start creating fake emails. If they're not fake, like it's not fake votes, although it's probably like goes against the spirit, but I don't care. I had 3 emails and it allowed me to vote 3 times. And I might have a 4th email I can use. I might have to have Lincoln go vote when I get downstairs. Like anybody who has an email in my family better be voting.
I love it.
Okay, great. Give me another one.
The next movement, the Roots, before they were on Jimmy Fallon.
Before Jimmy. This is the U.S. women's national team in your Seattle Reign, Kev.
Bugg, baby.
Bugg and Sam Meza made their debuts.
Biandolo was leading the squad as the captain.
Yeah, first time.
Look at that. I did my homework.
You're good work. Yeah. Do you know the game before that, Claudia Dickey, the keeper, started in goal?
No idea.
So over the 2 matches they played, I think they're both against Ireland, if I remember correctly. All 4 Reign players were featured. Started one or the other game. Lynn Biandola scored also as the captain. I think it's very cool. So it's the next movement. Maybe they're the next movement for the U.S. women's national team. That's all I got. That's all I
I'm
had on
definitely
the-
gonna put together a playlist and link it in the show notes.
Let's
So,
go. That's amazing.
okay. Let's go to Protect Your Neck.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang.
This is for Dan Wilson. There's some Mariner fans out for his neck, Kev.
And it's so stupid.
Okay, tell me. Tell
I
me
mean,
your thoughts.
I messaged you,
Yep.
an infamous commentator
Yep.
about the Seattle Mariners, and was like, Dan Wilson needs to be fired. Nothing like a good old X account telling us that a manager needs to get fired when it's June 30th and the Mariners are well within the playoff hunt. I just don't get it. I don't like it. It doesn't make, I mean, you can be passionate about something and not want to like terminate someone's job at an unreasonable point in time. It takes me a long way to get to let's fire someone.
I agree with you, but it's not because I like Dan Wilson or I have good memories or
Yeah.
whatever. I actually think if you look historically at franchises who have done that, it doesn't usually fix what's going on. Right?
No.
The Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr was a huge upgrade, but also Steph Curry entered his prime. Now, the Kerr upgrade is a great example, but guess what? The Bucks fired Adrian Griffin because Giannis wanted him to, and they got Doc Rivers, and they've been bad since. And Doc Rivers is like, a championship coach.
Yeah.
It happens all the time that people want to get rid of the person because they want to blame somebody because they feel bad about the way their baseball team's playing. And if
a coach is actually bad though, like Jim Mora was a bad NFL.
That was a great call. Yeah.
So then
yeah.
they replaced him, right? But Dan Wilson isn't objectively bad. I'm sorry. Look at the record.
Yeah, they're not. I think the expectations are a little higher, and I think his in-game manager style and decisions leave some to be desired by a lot of people. I'll give you a couple examples of the weekend just to give the devil's advocate. I will say Dan Wilson has the best winning percentage in Mariners history, by the way, right now at 54%, which is actually, I mean, is there anything
pretty
better?
funny. Yeah.
Lou is second, also 54, but a little lower, and Service is third, just in case you're wondering. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw
It's
images of it.
Pretty ridiculous.
Okay, so Dan really likes to platoon and then pinch hit like in the 5th, 6th inning if it's a lefty righty. And the one that really bothers me lately is Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore is objectively, not subjectively, but objectively, if you look at anything, the worst hitter in baseball over the last 30 days. He's in a terrible slump, right?
Yeah.
He's striking out like 34% of the time. I mean, it's really bad. And Dom Canzone has been pretty good. And Dom Canzone hit a double off a lefty in Minnesota at the end of the game. I was like, oh, it's interesting to let him hit against a lefty. And he got pinch hit by Dylan Moore a couple times recently, at least once in the Texas series, like early, like 6th inning. Well, now we get 3 at-bats of Dylan Moore because the game goes to extra innings, and Dylan Moore can't do anything.
Yeah.
So that you can argue against, right? Here's another one. He has kind of like weird. People get upset about bunts. I don't care about that one. He does use pitchers in kind of weird spots and does weird stuff. They had 3 extra inning games against the Rangers. Bruce Bochy is the manager of the Rangers, and he is as good as there's ever been. And the difference was clear in the 2. The Mariners actually won 2 out of the 3, but I think Bochy showed why he's so good. Trent Thornton's pitching in the last game of this series. It's tied in whatever, the 12th or 13th inning, 12th inning. There's runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. If you're the manager, 1 run wins the game, right? 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. What are you doing with the next batter?
Wait, say that again?
So the Mariners are pitching Trent Thornton. It's
Yeah.
the bottom of the 12th. It's a tie game, 3-3. There's a runner on 3rd, runner on 2nd. Right? 1 run scores the game. Batter comes up. Are you just pitching to that guy? What are you doing?
You walk him, so you get
You
4
walk
shots
him.
everywhere. Yeah.
Right? They pitched to him. Trent Thornton struck him out. Then they intentionally walked a guy, struck out the next guy. They get out of the inning. They win in 13. I think if you look at process versus result, I don't understand that process. I don't get that. The only way you get out of that is a pop up, a grounder right at your drawn in infield, which just never happens basically, or a strikeout. Versus one out, bases loaded. You now, have the opportunity for a double play. You still have a force out at home. You could still get the strikeout. It worked out, and maybe the matchups were right. Maybe Josh Young, who is hitting, was going to strike out and he's slumping. Maybe Dan Wilson's smarter than all of us. But he's done that more than once where it's like, shouldn't you walk this guy now? Maybe he has crazy instincts that are going to work. But I think there's enough of those actions where people are critical.
It's reasonable to be critical, right?
Right.
Reasonable.
But to call the guys firing, it's not going to do anything. What are they going to do? So Manny Acta, who's the bench coach, who's making these decisions with Dan, is going to be the manager, and all of a sudden it'll be better?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. They're fine. It's not Dan Wilson is the reason they're going to win or lose games right now. Okay? At least that's what I think. That's what you think. So your neck is protected, according to us.
Yeah. Is it C.R.E.A.M or C.R.E.A.M?
Well, it stands for cash rules everything around me. C.R.E.A.M, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all.
There you go. Man, I was waiting for it. C.R.E.A.M.
Yeah, but people call it's C.R.E.A.M. Okay, Wu-Tang Clan. All right, this is Kraken free agency.
By the way, ctownsports.com. Subscribe to read our latest post.
Talked about what the Kraken have done so far.
Yeah.
Okay, they're acquiring a couple trades, Mason Marchment, and they've gotten a little tougher. If you want to read the article, I'll explain why. But free agency opens today. Also, NBA free agency opens. It's kind of wild on social media right now. A little bit more action in the NBA. NHL, it's hard to tell what the Kraken are going to do. They do have money, but people who write about hockey think it's a pretty lukewarm free agent class. So there is a player. I'm just going to throw this on the podcast in case it happens, so people get excited and think I know something about hockey. Are you ready? Okay. I got to find his name. Jordyn Kyrou. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right. So there you go. Kyrou. He plays for the St. Louis Blues. He is not a free agent, but he makes about $8 million a year, which is a big salary. And he is rumored to be available via trade, and the Kraken are interested. So I would ignore free agency. Okay, the number one target in NHL free agency is Mitch Marner. He's going to Vegas on a sign-and trade, which is brutal for the Kraken. He plays for Toronto. He's getting signed and traded to Vegas. Vegas kicks our butt. You add a guy like Jordyn Kyrou, which makes me think of that cartoon, Caillou. 30 plus goals last 3 years. He would clearly be our best scorer immediately. I don't care that he makes $8 million a year for like 6 more years. That's the kind of dude we need to make an acquisition for. So that's what I'm advocating for.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it.
So if it happens, I'll be pumped, and you can say you heard it here first or second. Or
by the way, speaking of free agency, at some point I clicked something that got me Shams Charania ESPN push notifications.
Oh boy.
Throughout the day I've been
getting blown up today.
Yeah, today was pretty crazy. I was just like looking at my Apple Watch. I was like, oh, someone signed for 30 million, whatever, however many years.
Yeah. Local angle, Michael Porter Jr. traded to Brooklyn.
Got traded to Brooklyn, yeah.
It's a good trade for the Nuggets, by the way. Getting Cam Johnson, a shooter, space the floor with Jokic.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. and his bad back. You can go hang out in Brooklyn, try to be a star. It's great. What do we have? I think we have one left, right?
KRS-One, Step Into a World.
Do you know that song?
No.
I can't sing it. There's like a hook that has a singing part, but you'll add it to the playlist. All right, this one's gonna be your favorite, and it's why I wore this shirt for you.
Basketball?
Step into a world. There's 2 players being ready to step into this world of college basketball. JJ Mandequit and my man Hans Steinbach.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what they're doing on the international stage right now? I don't know if our listeners know this because they're probably not getting up in the morning, throwing on YouTube, not YouTube TV, real YouTube, and streaming FIBA U19 World Cup basketball or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, or they're not following me on X and getting all my retweets of my Hans Steinbach
Dude,
highlights.
this
12 points,
guy's
7 rebounds, 5 assists in their win over China. 90
yep.
to
How
90
about the
to,
first game, Kev? What did Hans do?
Oh man, I don't have it in front of me.
19 points, 19 rebounds. What?
And there was something about there's a quote like he's like, "Yeah, I love Dirk Nowitzki. He came to our
Yes.
family's home once." So I was like, "Yes, this is
Dude.
the content that I need."
Dude, Hans, it's awesome. So he's playing for U19 Germany. If you love basketball, find out the times of these U19 games and go watch, particularly if you're a Husky basketball fan, Germany and then the United States of America. US is like, if you geek out, you could see top college freshmen and top incoming freshmen that, you know, like the number one pick for next year, AJ Dabansa, who is going to go to BYU, is playing on this team.
Oh, is he on US? He's not on Canada, right?
He's on the US.
Okay.
But the kid who's playing for the Huskies, JJ Mandaquit, is playing on this team.
He can
And
shoot.
No, Kev, don't worry about his shooting. I'm going to tell you right now, I watched him. It's not just that in the last game versus France, he had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists in 22 minutes. JJ is a pure point guard. He is a coach's dream. This is a point guard the Huskies have not seen. Maybe,
Since
not
Will
ever.
Conroy?
Yeah, maybe, but even, I don't even know. I'm going to geek out so hard here. The way he sees the floor and is willing to pass the ball up the floor is not something you see in college basketball. Like,
Yeah.
he gets they look for him on the outlet and then his eyes are up and guys are running and he's just throwing laser dimes. He's not a point guard who over dribbles. He wants it out of his hand. He's such a floor general. Like, you just don't see it. There's so many scoring point guards now because that's how you get to the next level. Like Zoom Diallo. I like Zoom. Zoom is a guy who plays like he wants to play at the next level. So as a point guard, it's not it's not even just that he's not pass first. It's the way Mandaquit is pass first is like a old school 90s point guard. Like, I mean, Peyton before he had a 3-point shot, you know, like just dudes who can dime people. Scott Skiles, like dudes like that who just want to pass.
Kendall Marshall?
Yes, great one. Kendall Marshall. I loved watching Kendall Marshall.
Just passed it.
Yeah, the guy for Kansas State, Marcus Noel, a couple years ago had a great tournament run. Mandaquit, I'm just telling you. You know, I'm like, you get all hyped about Husky teams and I usually like temper the enthusiasm. I was like, oh, whatever, you know. No, I want to watch Mandaquit play.
Is he going to start?
When I watch him as a coach, I'm like, he should start. He probably
some competition.
He probably won't to start the year because I don't know. That might do some weird stuff to the locker room if, you know, Mandaquit comes in and starts and Zoom comes off the bench. But I also think, does Sprinkle really care? Sprinkle's commentary right now is, I am never losing like that again. You better come to compete. So Mandaquit's going to go out on the floor and
he could just win the starting
everybody's
job,
going to want to play with him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're all going to run the floor for him. I don't know. TJ McConnell, that's another one. That's like how he is. And maybe that doesn't excite people. It should. It's going to be beautiful basketball when he's on the floor offensively. I'm very excited. So I'm geeking out. Pumped. Now, the last time I was this excited, I told my brother-in-law's brother, who loves Husky basketball, how good Abdul Gaddy was going to be, and he never lets me hear the end of it. But in fairness, Abdul Gaddy was pretty good in college. He just didn't live up to that. He didn't live up to the
By the way, he's coaching for the Huskies, so
well, he probably loves JJ Mandaquit.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, good stuff.
Hey, Justin Dentman scored too much. Okay, I was just thinking of point guards.
Yeah,
I think that's it. We did it. All the '90s hip hop.
That was a great run there.
All those songs are in a random website's top 100 90 songs. So
yeah, well, I'll put together the playlist and you'll be able to click it in the show notes.
Beautiful.
Gotta love 90s hip hop. Top five. I got one for you. You ready? You ready
Okay,
for it?
I'm ready. Top
Okay.
five.
Coming off of your vote for Cal Raleigh,
Mhm.
I have
Can
two
I say something
options.
really quick
Yeah.
before you go? So you should know more about this, Kev, this vote for Cal Raleigh thing. Tonight at the ballpark, they have shirts with a big old peach on them, and they say vote for Cal. They have this whole campaign. Every player in the lineup had a song about backsides as their walk-up song tonight.
Who got big butts? Do you know?
I think it was JP. I don't know. It's on social media.
That is
They
great.
sent it out, but it's awesome. Like they're really embracing it, which they should. It's only a 3-day window to vote.
Yeah.
I'm going to remind everybody to go vote again. Okay, Kev, give me your top five.
Okay, you get two. You either get MLB All-Star Trivia or Seattle Mariners specific All-Star Trivia. What do you want? Okay. Okay. There are 5 Mariners that have had multi-hit All-Star games.
Ooh,
5 exact Mariners. Can you name those Mariners?
Griffey.
Griffey
He won the
did it
MVP.
3 times.
Yeah, he
No,
won the.
4 times. He did it in 92.
That's crazy.
He did it in 98. He had 2 hits. He did it in 94 and he did it in 91. And he hit a home run in
94?
92.
92
when
at
I
San
was-
Diego.
I don't know if it was in San
I
Diego.
think it
don't
was.
have
He
that.
won the MVP one time.
Yeah.
I think Ichiro did it once.
Ichiro had 3 hits in San Francisco in 2007.
Dang,
I
let's
think.
go. Ichiro.
Or maybe was it in San Francisco in 2007? I don't
I
know.
have no idea. That would be a good top five.
But he
Just
had the most
have me
hits.
guess. Okay.
Yeah. And it was at AT&T Park, so I was correct. Okay. So you got 2.
I feel like Robinson Cano did this.
No, he didn't. In 2017, he had a hit. Yep. So
that's
that's your
halfway.
first strike.
Can I ask you,
You
is there
can get
anyone
a hit.
before 1990?
No. Everyone is at. So you have one more guy in the 90s and you have one guy in the 2010s.
All right. Well, I got to go Edgar.
Yep, Edgar in 97 as a DH got 2 hits. And he scored a run. Man, back in the day, you could get 3 at-bats as an all-star.
Yeah. One in the 2010s.
Yeah, this one is going to be tough. This person.
All right. Well, let's just go Jose Lopez.
No.
Okay. I think he's before 2010.
Yeah,
actually.
this one would have been hard. 2018, Gene Segura had 2
Oh,
hits.
good for Gene.
Yeah. Yeah, I could have given you a hint, but
Somebody said recently on social media, Gene Segura is one of the best Mariners hitters ever. And I scoffed, and then like his stats kind of back it up.
yeah, he hit 300
there.
and 304.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Gene Segura was really good. It was weird.
For 2 seasons, man.
They
that's
traded
pretty good.
Ketel Marte for him, by the way.
Yeah.
And then they traded Segura for JP.
Yeah, which I think
So-
is paid off.
Yeah, Segura has since then. I'd actually like to look this up. I'm guessing JP's had a better career since the trade. But Ketel Marte has been better than both of them. He's awesome. Okay, here's my top 5 for you. It's really hard to find some of this information, but this one will work. I wanted to find the most home runs at T-Mobile by an opponent, but instead I just found most home runs by a Mariners opponent in Major League history. Okay. And now that's probably harder because it's like all the players in the world. So if you want some hints, I'm happy to give you some hints. But I want you to name the top 5 players in MLB home runs against the Mariners. I will tell you that number 1 has 54 career home runs against the Mariners.
Okay. I don't know if this is number 1, but I'm just going to start with Rafael Palmeiro.
Oh, very good. Number 2,
Yeah.
52.
Killed the
Yeah,
Mariners.
Rafael Palmeiro absolutely
He
killed the Mariners.
destroyed
He has
the Mariners.
230 career hits against the Mariners.
I feel like he always hit a home run in right field. It's horrible.
That's a good guess. Nice job, Kev. That was really
okay.
good.
Mike Trout.
Number 1,
Yes.
54. I went on a Reddit thread where some guy like took Mike Trout's numbers 1 year against the Mariners and like projected him the rest of the year, and he would have hit 87 home runs that year.
It would have been like Cal Raleigh this year.
Mike Trout, 54 career home runs against the Mariners, number one all time.
Yeah.
I will tell you the other three are famous baseball players, two of which are Hall of Famers or should be like Hall of Fame level.
Yes. Okay.
And in your lifetime.
Yes. Okay, so I think this next person's going to be a Yankee. Gosh. Man, this is hard.
You want a hint?
Yeah, give me a hint.
Okay. Number 3 all time was actually a Red Sox.
Manny Ramirez.
Yes, Manny Ramirez, number 3 all time. 39 home runs. Way below Palmeiro and Trout, but still.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 played for a number of teams. Probably most of those home runs were hit when he was in Texas. Switch hitter.
Ooh. Can we come back to this one?
Pretty sure he's switcher. Yeah. Number 5 is on TV for baseball coverage and played for the White Sox. That's way too easy of a hint.
Is it Frank Thomas?
Frank Thomas, number 5 all time. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to know weird trivia? Frank Thomas has the same birthday as Jeff Bagwell.
That is weird trivia. I like that. I like that.
Same exact
Okay.
birthday.
So number 4,
Played
I'm
for
going to
the
double check
Rangers.
that I'm right, that he was a switch hitter.
It's not Palmeiro. Is it
His last
Mark
season.
Teixeira?
You're looking this up.
No, I'm not.
There's no way you
Is
just
it
guessed.
Mark Teixeira?
Mark
Because
Teixeira.
I thought Yankees, and then I was like, who
He
played?
did play for the Yankees for
Yeah.
a second.
And who moved around? Mark Teixeira.
Mark Teixeira, you nailed it. That's unbelievable. You got
Yeah, but you
like
gave me
no
a hint.
one's gonna believe that you guessed that.
You could literally see it through my glasses. I was just sitting there thinking. I mean, that was
I
pretty
feel like
good
I was
to
sharing
get
my screen. That was good.
Palmeiro and Trout.
Okay, for Mariner fan, longtime Mariner fan, some of these names won't surprise you. 6 all time is A-Rod. That's brutal.
I was almost going to say it.
He's tied with Juan Gonzalez. That guy used to just hit bombs against the Mariners. That's probably when you were really little.
Yeah.
He was Texas. His nickname is, it was like Juan Gonzalez, whatever. Paul Konerko, White Sox first baseman. So the White Sox first baseman have killed the Mariners. And then number 9, Cal Ripken Jr.
I was almost going to say Cal Ripken, weirdly
Yeah.
enough, because he was around for so long.
Right.
And then is number 10 just, do you not have a number 10?
10 is Dave Winfield.
Dave Winfield, Hall of
Yeah.
Famer.
Do you know anything fun about Dave Winfield?
His helmet looked really small.
Oh,
in
that's a good
all the
point.
Videos.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. It's absolutely insane. Okay, can I tell you something crazy about Dave Winfield to end our podcast?
Yeah.
I think I have this right. I'm double checking it right now on here. Dave Winfield was drafted in at least 3 major sports. I'm trying to find the exact number here. So he was at University of Minnesota, and he got drafted in the 1973 NBA draft, 5th round, 6th round of the ABA draft the same year. He never played college football, but the Vikings took him in the 17th round in the 1973 football draft. So he's never drafted. So he was drafted in 3 professional sports leagues. He's one of 5 players ever to have that happen to him.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and then because it was 2 basketball leagues, technically he was drafted in 4 leagues. That's crazy. Dave Winfield. There you go, folks.
Oh, he's still alive. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and his helmet's still too small for him. So there you go. All right, we're going to leave on one note. When you listen to this podcast, it will be Tuesday, hopefully. Even if it's Wednesday early before 9 a.m.
Here we
Pacific,
go.
go vote for Cal Raleigh. Dumper for life.
Big dumper.
Let's go.
All right. See ya, everyone, next week.